Hi everyone, my name is Tammy and I want to welcome you to Patreon. Thank you very much for tuning in. And I'm making this particular video public because I feel it's important to go into describing what it is I mean by epigenetic hygiene and kind of bridge, kind of breaking the ice around how this is translated by the body, or how, I'll just leave it at that. So before I go any further, please forgive the type of brightness here. This is the best seat in the house for this. I also want to say that just to give you a little insight into my background, which includes pharmacology, 30 plus years of aromatherapy, that is the study of plant constituents as they relate to the human genome and drug development, and which is the reason why I call myself an aromacologist. I also have a background in holistic nutrition, or more importantly, the science of nutrition, meaning the chemical constituents of foods, meaning vitamins, minerals, phytonutrients, and such, and the way they interact with the oils and how the body actually uses them. So in this video, like I said, I really want to jump into the epigenome and the way I see it, which is functioning. I don't agree with the words defect or dysfunctional, or I don't feel like that's an appropriate way to put it, because the body is going to react to the environment, both internal and external, based on our individual wiring. Now, what's really profound for me is back in the 40s and 50s, it was determined that our DNA has the ability to alter itself in response to information coming in. This is happening prior to conception. So your individual genetic code is really what sets you up for how your body is going to, or I should say, your methylation pathway or your epigenome is going to respond to your thoughts, your feelings, and your lifestyle. This is the reason why we're seeing so many people have different types of reactions, and why it's virtually impossible to predict how anything is going to go. And why it's necessary to, number one, understand that for as little control as we think we may have over our health, we actually have more input than we realize. To me, it's an absolute blessing to realize that the epigenome has the ability to activate and deactivate various functions on any given second. And if we are conscious of this and choosing to eliminate certain things from our life and include certain things in our life, or deliberately choosing something and understanding that we may have to support the system in order to get the best function. Okay, that's really what I'm here to teach. And so, like I said, our individual code was given to us prior to our arrival. And how our epigenome interprets everything else is based on so it's got information coming from both levels, okay? The underlying genome is wired a certain way. And then we have the epigenome, which is designed to react and respond accordingly. This to me is very fascinating, and this is really what puts the reins back in our hands. And that's really the whole premise to what we're doing here. When we talk about, my first tutorial is going to be on the flu shot. I've been trying to do this a couple of times, but I'm under a time crunch today, so I'm not going to go any further with it. But I'm going to actually do it in 2 segments. So I'm going to do a video specifically for those who are either considering the flu shot or have already gotten the flu shot. Please understand that I am not pro or against I'm not going to sit here and advocate for or against any sort of medical procedure. I'm not here to badmouth the medical world. I am simply here to help people understand what they can do to influence or to help improve upon the way their body is responding to the world. Because that's ultimately what's happening. Like I said, it's got information from both sides. And so really getting to that point of like, wow, this is what's happening within me. This is and why, and what we can do nutritionally, as well as include oils into it, I find to be significant. again, I have 30 years in the field of essential oils. However, I'm not here to promote essential oils because I'm trying to sell oils. That's not why I'm here to do that. I'm actually really strongly advocating for the inclusion of oils, but the conscious inclusion of essential oils, because they have a direct impact on the way the epigenome responds to the world. Or they have a significant, but again, they do not contain nutrients. Therefore, understanding nutrients, because what ultimately happens is, I'll give you an example. Estrogen, okay? The way the genome works, or the cell receptors are, is they have very specific shapes to them. And the chemicals have shapes to them because of the way their carbons and their hydrogens and so forth are placed on the molecule. These fit into the receptors. Estrogen has a very distinct shape, and it fits into whatever receptor it lands in. I mean, this isn't kind of haphazard behavior. There's a fluidity, there's a force in nature that science has recognized for a couple of hundred years now that they don't talk about up front, but it is being discussed behind the scenes. They're aware that there's a synergy between plant constituents. They're actually trying to replicate this synergy in a lab. I say good luck. But nonetheless, so it's not just a haphazard, like, oh, hey, here's a receptor, I go in here, and we're just going to just kind of plug in and go. That's not how it works. I mean, there's a fluidity, there is an unbelievable ability to. I have no words for it at this point. So at any rate, you have the estrogen, it plugs in. If I come up with it in a future video, I'll definitely let you know. But the estrogen plugs into where it's supposed to be, whether it's be for reproduction or the activation of the immune system. Estrogen has significant roles in the body. That said, the xenoestrogens in our environment have a similar shape, which means when they are introduced into this body, what ends up happening is the cell receptor recognizes it, and they fit in. They fit in where the estrogen is supposed to go, and altering the way the body actually responds, because the chemistry of that chemical is different. Therefore, it is creating a different message, and in turn, the body is actually using our foods differently. It becomes stressful to the system because it's a different message. It's activating an entirely different process that alters the way the body uses the nutrients. And I just want to say right here and right now, the megadosing of supplements, and primarily in minerals and vitamins, and I know there's also phytonutrients, and there's a lot of nutraceuticals out there that have like some crazy things like oxadrenals and, chicken embryos. And I mean, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff out there. But it's not necessary to do all that, because ultimately what we're trying to do is stabilize the system in such a way that it begins to use the nutrients more effectively. So as I was saying, the messages get kind of turned around because there's different chemicals coming into the body, which activates a stress reaction. Our macronutrients are no longer being broken down and or assimilated, more importantly. So the mega dosing on vitamins and minerals and phytonutrients right now, as I was saying, is absolutely unnecessary. It's not that the body needs more vitamin C or vitamin Bs, vitamin Bs will go there sometime, but it's not like it needs all these A's and E's and D's, and it doesn't need that. It doesn't need calcium and magnesium in a supplement form. That is very detrimental to the body, because the body competes for those two minerals at the same level. So one typically tends to win out over the other one, and predominantly the U.S. culture is very low in magnesium, as we are very low in vitamin D. It's because we're not using these minerals effectively. And that, again, is not a defect in the body. That is just an interpretation of information that the body has received. And so therefore, it's appropriating things in a different way. So the bottom line to any sort of disease or disorder is really ultimately an alteration in the way we are using the micronutrients and break down in our ability to assimilate the macronutrients. Now, this is why I advocate for the oils. Again, not because I'm selling oils per se, but because they do help relieve this reaction. They actually can activate and influence cell receptor activity because, again, they have similar shapes. This is a reason why I also tell people that we have to be very careful about the oils that we choose, because some of these oils that we have available to us act very much like our own hormones. And it's not about repeating or controlling our chemistry in the sense that we're trying to increase dopamine, we're trying to increase estrogen, we're trying to lower serotonin. It's not about that. It's about helping the body do what it's supposed to do. This is, again, the reason why I'm beginning with the flu shot, because there's a way to help the immune system without overstimulating it. And so it's not about taking control as much as it is about understanding how these oils act in the body, and to mindfully select ones that will stabilize the system so that it can better break down the macronutrients, in which case the micronutrients the use of micronutrients is improved. Okay, I hope that makes sense, but I'm going to stop there for now. And like I said, I'm going to go jump and get into this next appointment. But in the meantime, please feel free to join me. $10 a month will give us all kinds of conversations, and we can really explore how this is affecting you, affecting potentially your children, and really kind of just moving forward with a whole new level of I don't like to use the word control, but it really is about influencing our health and really being proactive about our health in a grounded, solid way that works in tandem with what our system is already equipped to do. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. And I really hope to be able to get to know you even more. All right. Thanks again, and I will chat with y'all later.